Hello everyone. In today's session, we will be learning about element type declaration. We have seen DTD, whereas this element type declaration is a part of that. Whereas the element type declaration is also going to say the set of rules for the elements, for the type of the element and the number of elements that need to appear in your XML document. We'll see with a simple example. See here, so there should be an open bracket and there should be a closed bracket, and after the open bracket you are in need of an exclamatory and a keyword element followed by the element name. Say for example FRE is the element that is being used in your XML file, then represent the name over here, and if the corresponding element is having the parser data, character data present inside, then you can represent it using the parenthesis. Within parenthesis, you can specify that corresponding data itself and then close it. This is one simple example where it tells you the way of representing an element. Say for example, if you want to create an empty element, which means your element needs to be an empty file, then you can just represent it using this statement. There is open bracket, exclamatory, element and the corresponding element name and keyword empty, which specifies that it is an empty one. In the last video, we have seen the basics of ETD and also what is the rules for writing the ETDs now. Once again, let me refresh that. All elements that is being used in your XML document, it should be declared in your DTD using ETD. So, element type declaration will be used inside document type definition. So, these are all the various element types that is allowed for your elements of your XML file. So, the first type is empty, the second one is any, the third one is children element, the fourth one is the mixed content. If your element refers to an empty, then you represent that in such a way in your XML file. Say for example, your tag is image, then source specify and close that. Or you can just specify like this in your XML file. That's okay. This is an empty tag. Any. So this refers to anything at all. As long as your XML file, the rules are being followed, any is useful to use when you have yet to decide the allowable content of the element. You have yet to decide. You will be deciding it on time. At that situations, you will be using any. And then the next is children element. You can place any number of element types within another element. Say, I have a parent element and I can have n number of children element present inside that corresponding parent element. So that is what children element is. And when you're talking about mixed content, you can have combinations. Say, you can have a parser character data itself present inside the parent, or you can have the children's present inside the parent element. You can have the content to be present in a mixed format. Now we'll see the various way of declaring your children. So the very best example that we have seen already, the syntax is being represented here. The element keyword, the parent element name and the child element name. Okay, in case your child element is having a parser character data inside, then it is possible. This child can have its corresponding parser character data inside. Whereas you need to represent a separate DTD for that corresponding child element also. See the second line, it is specifying that element, the child name and its corresponding allowable content, the corresponding data for that child that could be represented over here. So this could be a good example for declaring the children of your parent. See this example. So in this example, there is one element TTD is being written, element student. Student is the corresponding element name. And within the bracket, parenthesis, they are having another element name which is ID. So student is the parent and ID is the children. See in the next line, element for the child element ID, they are declaring this corresponding DTD line. Element ID hash PC data, parser character data of ID. So this is how your DTD is written. And coming to your corresponding XML, what is being written over here? See, student. So student is a parent. So inside that parent you have ID, which is a child, and its corresponding parser character data, which is some specified number like 9216735, and the parent is being closed. So this is the way you will declare the children. Okay, I have multiple children. In that case, what would be your answer? See this first line of example. So here there is a parent, and within the parenthesis I do specify number of children that could be present inside the parent element. So for example, here child 1 underscore name, child 2 underscore name, child 3 underscore name. So that what this line specify is I have 3 child elements present inside the parent. Okay, for every of the child I do write a DTD separately. See, this line is going to specify for child 1, and this is for child 2, and this is for child 3. We'll see that with an example so that you can clearly understand. See, in this example, there is a parent element whose element name is student is given over here, and it has 3 children, ID, surname, first name. Okay, and then a DTD is separately written for ID, separately written for surname, separately written for first name. Okay, for ID, the PC data is represented. For first name, PC data is represented. For surname, PC data is represented. So following this rule, the XML file may be like this. Say, student is the parent, ID is a child with its corresponding data present inside. Surname is another child with the data Smith present inside. And first name is another child with the data Joe. So we will be closing the line. So this will be a good example for declaring multiple children. Multiple children, that is the sequence should not be missed. Child 1, child 2, child 3. In the similar fashion, the XML file also should follow the sequence. You should not miss the sequence. And then the next is the optional children, which is an option, right? So optional children means you can have it in your mind that 0 or 1 time. 0 or 1 time. Remember the symbol question mark. So you will be using this operator, the question mark operator at the end of the child name, and the meaning of that is that corresponding child may be represented either 0 time or 1 time inside your corresponding XML file. That is a clear understanding. Just come over here, element. So student is a parent, and inside that you see date of birth, question mark operator is represented. So what it means, in my XML file, I should have a parent with the name student, and I should have child. I can have a child with the name DOB, and I can have this DOB child to be represented for null time or for 1 time. That is a rule for declaring optional children. So in this example, student has only 1 child with the name DOB, and the data of birth data is presented over inside. And it can also be represented like a parent alone without any child DOB. That is what optional children. The child that you are going to specify here is option. Declaring 0 or more. That is question mark 0 or 1. You should remember. Here 0 or more children. So you should remember the symbol asterisk operator, star. Right? So what is the meaning is, you can represent the child for 0 number of times and also for more number of times inside the parent itself. That is what the answer is. Now see, element, student, subject, this star sign, right? So student is the parent, subject is the children. So this star symbol represents that subject can be, this corresponding children can be represented either for 0 times or it can be represented for n number of times. So see this example. So student, so inside student I have one child, subject, another child subject, another child subject, and its corresponding data is present inside. So this is the example for star. Star declaring 0 or more children. And coming to the next, declaring 1 or more. So we have seen till now about 0 or 1, 0 or more. Now this operator, the plus operator, will be helping you to declare a children which could be represented one time or more time in your XML file. See, so parent name should be represented, child name should be represented inside the parenthesis with a plus sign at the end. So the plus sign at the end represents what? The child can be represented for one time inside the parent or for n number of times inside the parent. So coming to this example, so element, student, subject, and with a plus sign at the end of that child name. So see, in the corresponding XML, what is happening? Student is there, inside student subject is there, and it is represented for one time. And I can also represent it for n number of times. You can go and represent subject, physics, subject, chemistry, like that I can go for n numbers. So that is the use of plus operator. Plus operator is one or more children. In combination of children, I can use either of the children. So which means that a choice between the children is allowed using this dash symbol. Right? So see, using this operator you can just represent that the parent name inside parenthesis represent the name of the child 1, and then followed by this operator and name of the child 2. So when you see this example, you can understand. You can have either of the two childs can be represented. Say for example, see, element, student, it has ID or surname, right? So in the example, I can have a parent with a name, student, and the child. The child could be either ID or surname. Any one child can be defined. So for example, it is defined like here is ID. Instead of ID, I can represent the surname. Okay, that is right. But at the same time, both child cannot be represented. That is the rule with respect to combination of children. So these are all the various ways that you can represent the children for your parents. Right? And coming to the nested element. So the nested element is very clear and good example that could be using various combinations and of all the element type declarations that we have seen earlier. So this could be dealt with a common exercise example. So what is the problem is, you are going to use all these types of declarations in a single document. That could be referred as a nested element. So I'll be telling you the exercise, giving you one exercise which will be having a combination of all the element type declaration, and you can write it down and submit it on my classroom. Thank you.